Right, let's get to it. Let's try and take this leg off so we can start panel lining stuff. Come on, you little... Get off. Oh. Ah, By now you have finished your first Gunpla and maybe have built a few more. You've added the stickers and it looks great, but you feel like there's something missing. Maybe it needs depth. Hello and welcome, my name is Mechanicum, or Mech. I make video reviews on Gunpla kits and video essays on mobile suits from the Gundam universe. My hope with these series of videos is to arm you with as much information as I can to help you with your journey into Gunpla. In this video, we will learn how to panel line your Gunpla kits. I will go over what panel lining is, the common tools used for main techniques and what tools they use, and what technique I prefer to use myself. And if you're new to Gunpla and don't know where to start, then worry not, as you can view my first video on how to Gunpla, where we talk about choosing your first Gunpla kit. There will be a link below in the description. First, a thank you to Gunpla UK who sponsored this channel. More about them at the end. What is panel lining? Panel lining is the process of drawing fine lines around the detailing of model parts. It is one of the simplest things you can do to really make your Gunpla pop. This is usually done with a black pen or black paint. However, you can use other colours that complement the colour of the plastic. What tools? The tools that you will need for panel lining will vary depending on the technique you use, and I will state which tools you need when I go over techniques. However, there are some universal tools that you need that will apply to all of the techniques I will talk about today. The most common universal tools are a cotton wool bud, kitchen roll or metal wiping stick, isopropanol alcohol or Gundam marker eraser pen, clear coat spray can or brush on. These tools are to help with tidying up or correcting mistakes, and then clear coat to seal all your work so it doesn't get damaged. Panel lining techniques. To show you the different techniques, I'll use my MG RX-782 Gundam Origin kit. I'll do each technique on each of the 4 limbs, with my preferred technique on the Gundam's head. Also for each technique, I will use only the colour black so it's easier to see what the effect each technique has. Technique 1. Fine liner, panel pen. This technique is probably the easiest, quickest and the least messy. The main tool used for this technique is a fine liner pen. You can get these at any stationery store like WH Smith for a couple of pounds, or you can get a Gundam marker one from stores like Gunpla UK for around £3. Simply clean the area you are panel lining, then follow the lines of the details of the nib of the pen. You may have to go over some areas a couple of times just to get that colour to apply. Then you can go back and clean up any overspill. As seen here, it leaves a heavy line, picks out the detail well. You can get other colours if you want a more subtle line. Technique 2. The paint pen. This technique is still as easy as the first, but a bit messier. The main tool is what is called a paint pen or brush pen. The nibs on the pens act more like a brush, which makes getting into tight corners a lot easier. Mine here has 2 nibs, one is smaller than the other. Just like the fine liner, you can get Gundam marker versions, which you can get from stores like Gunpla UK for around £5. Again, like the first technique, follow the lines of the details and clean up as you go. You do have to be more careful with this technique as the ink from a pen can flow, and when you clean up the areas you have overspilled, you can remove too much and have to redo the line. The final result is a softer line compared to a fine liner and give you a more shadowed like look. You can also get these pens in other colours to give a more subtle line. Technique 3. The panel line wash. This is probably one of the more complicated techniques out before I'm showing you today. Most panel line wash, like this MIG ammo panel line wash, are made from enamel paints. This means they have a chemical base, so ensure that you are wearing gloves and use them in a well ventilated area. They need enamel thinners to clean the brushes, and if you don't put a top coat on the plastic beforehand, you can end up cracking the parts of the kit if too much pulls. You can either use a paintbrush or in this case a panel lining nib pen. This technique requires patience. First spray the part in gloss top coat, this will help the panel line wash to flow. Dip the nib into the wash and allow it to draw some up. Push the nib into or against the line or detail and allow for wash to flow using the capillary effect. You have to do this at multiple points to fully cover the part. Then to clean up, leave to dry for a little while and go over the excess with a Gundam marker eraser, followed by a cotton bud or kitchen roll to remove. Using the capillary effect helps the panel line look more natural, and a panel line wash can be brought in different colours too. Available at most hobby stores like Gunpla UK for around £12. Technique 4. acrylic wash. This is more of a technique that builders migrating from other hobbies, such as scale model building and Warhammer, will tend to do. It's almost a mixture of the previous two techniques, where it uses a water-based acrylic wash instead of enamel, but relies on a paintbrush to push the paint around the details instead of relying on the capillary effect that panel line wash takes advantage of. As it is water-based, it isn't as toxic as panel line wash, nor does it smell. It's easy to clean up and comes in a wide range of colours, even more so as you can thin most acrylic paints with water and turn them into washes. Some may need relevant thinners though. Nearly every hobby shop will sell acrylic paints, so they are pretty easy to get hold of and can range from a couple of pounds to a £5 per pot depending on the brand. With this technique, you dip the brush in the pot, brush off any excess wash, and then drag the brush around for details. You then clean up after with some water or isopropyl on kitchen roll. If you make a mistake or don't like the result, you can easily wipe it off and start again. So this technique is very forgiving for beginners to the Gunpla. The finished result is a slight colour to the panel lines, and you can also get a decent fade in some of the areas. My preferred technique. Out of the 4 techniques that I have gone over, I prefer to use acrylic washes. Numerous reasons are that it is easy to clean, cheap to buy, comes in various colours, and is easy to apply. They won't damage the plastic of a Gunpla kit and are pretty forgiving. On the head of this Gunpla, I use various colours, namely a Citadel contrast paint called Apothecary White and a Citadel wash called Carabao Crimson. These colours complement the colour of the plastic and give a more subtle panel line as shown here. And here is the final piece of all 4 techniques. I didn't panel line the torso, so you can see the comparison between the different panel lining techniques and parts that are not panel lined. Of course, once you are done, it is best to use a clear top coat to seal in all the hard work that you've put in. Hopefully, I have helped you see how the different techniques look and what will work for you. Don't be afraid of trying them all for yourself, and remember that there are more techniques than I have explained today. These are just some of the 4 most common. Thank you for making it this far in the video. If you liked this video or it has helped you understand panel lining better, then slash that like button with a beam saber. And don't forget to blast the subscribe button with a beam rifle so you don't miss the next video in the series. Let me know what your thoughts are on panel lining, and if I missed anything by dropping a comment like a colony below. Finally, I would like to thank Gunpla UK, who sponsors this channel and feed my plastic addiction. Gunpla UK is a one-stop shop for all things Gunpla and staff build, with a wide range of model kits from a simple EG Strike starter kit to a massive 148 RX-782, and a good selection of limited or exclusive kits from Gundam Base and P-bandai. Also, all the tools and paints you'll ever need to help further your hobby journey. Plus, if you use my code OMechanical 10%, you will get 10% off your order. Remember, knowledge is power. Bye now.